everybody, and welcome to the Leavenworth Preservation Commission meeting for Wednesday, August 4th. It's 6 p.m. and we like to be prompt. And I want to thank all the Preservation Commission members for being punctual as always, because we know we all have a lot to do. So we have 4 members present, and I'm just confirming we do have a confirmed quorum. Okay. So my next item will be did everyone have a chance to look at the previous minutes?
Yes, sir, I've looked at the minutes.
I'll second it.
It's been moved and properly seconded that the previous minutes be approved. I'll start with you.
Aye.
Aye.
All right, and aye. The quorum is in support. So, according to this agenda I have in front of me, we have no old business. So we're moving straight into new business. I see we have a couple guests with us today. And are they here to represent the?
They are the applicants.
Okay, they are the applicant. So shall we hear from them first and then go through our?
No, we'll go through the
Staff
policy report
report.
first, and
Yeah.
then after we get through that, we can have the applicants talk a little bit about their plans.
Thank you. Appreciate you being here.
Absolutely.
Surrender to you.
Okay, so this is an application for a state law review for 410 South 2nd Street. This is a property that's located in the Leavenworth Industrial Historic District. So this is the site of the existing C&H plumbing supply, and the property consists of a larger warehouse portion of the building where the plumbing supply is, and then a smaller attached retail portion out on 2nd Street. And we've got some picture, yeah, so that's the retail portion out on 2nd Street. I believe Sunflower Sisters had been in there previously, so.
Oh, wow.
So again, it has the large brick warehouse portion, and then there's a fenced parking area, and then the smaller attached retail space was built in the late 1800s and has had a variety of uses since it was built. So just the nature of the building, the warehouse portion is really sort of limited in the types of uses that are appropriate in that building without making major changes to it. And so this was at the Planning Commission just this past Monday. It's currently zoned light industrial, and so that's even further limited the types of uses that can go on here. And the Planning Commission has recommended approval of rezoning to the Central Business District, which sort of brings it a little better in line with downtown Leavenworth and the types of uses that are allowed in the area for the historic structures. So that's just kind of as a footnote for you guys, not something that you really have to consider in terms of that, but just to let you know where that is. So the applicants are intending to convert the warehouse portion into a mini storage facility. That'll include retrofitting the inside to include individual storage units. They'll be retaining the exterior brick facade of the building, replacing some doors and windows. They've provided some examples of that. They'll be replacing the existing chain link fence around that parking area with a metal black fencing. Example of window they've provided, and just an exterior door. So we can let them get into that a little bit more on where they plan to put different things when we hear from them. And then the retail portion of the building, you get that picture back up, the portion that fronts on 2nd Street, intending to convert that into a cigar lounge that would be open for that use. So again, a rezoning request was heard by the Planning Commission this Monday. They recommended approval of that, so that now goes to the City Commission here in a few weeks for final approval. And so that rezoning is into a less intense use, and so kind of taking out most of those industrial type uses that it's been restricted to. So just to go through the required reviews that we have to do for the state law review. The first is that a property shall be used for its historic purpose or be placed in a new use that requires minimal change to the defining characteristics of the building and its site and environment. And so again, the primary structure was constructed as a warehouse, and there are minimal exterior changes proposed as part of this, really just replacing some doors and windows that needs to be replaced, and they'll be keeping that whole brick exterior. The second is that the historic character of a property shall be retained and preserved. The removal of historic materials or alteration of features and spaces that characterize a property shall be avoided, and no removal of historic materials or alteration of defining features is proposed. The third is that each property shall be recognized as a physical record of its time, place, and use. Changes that create a false sense of historical development, such as adding conjectural features or architectural elements from other buildings, shall not be undertaken, and there are no such changes proposed. The fourth, most properties change over time. Those changes that have acquired historic significance in their own right shall be retained and preserved, and no removal or alteration of historic features is proposed. The fifth, distinctive features, finishes, and construction techniques or examples of craftsmanship that characterize an historic property shall be preserved, and again, no removal or alteration of any historic features is proposed. 6, deteriorated historic features shall be repaired rather than replaced. Where the severity of deterioration requires replacement of a distinctive feature, the new feature shall match the old in design, color, texture, and other visual qualities, and, where possible, materials. Replacement of missing features shall be substantiated by documentary, physical, or pictorial evidence. And again, only doors and windows are proposed to be replaced, and the proposed replacement doors and windows are appropriate for the structure and the use that's proposed here. Number 7, chemical or physical treatments such as sandblasting that cause damage to historic materials shall not be used. The surface cleaning of structures, if appropriate, shall be undertaken using the gentlest means possible, and no such treatments are proposed here. Number 8, significant archaeological resources affected by a project shall be protected and preserved. If such resources must be disturbed, mitigation measures shall be undertaken, and there are no known archaeological resources at this site. Number 9, new additions, exterior alterations, or related new construction shall not destroy historic materials that characterize the property. The new work shall be differentiated from the old and shall be compatible with the massing, size, scale, and architectural features to protect the historic integrity of the property and its environment. And no new construction is proposed as part of this. Again, any changes really are going to be on the interior of the buildings to retrofit them into the proposed uses. And finally, new additions and adjacent or related construction shall be undertaken in such a manner that if removed in the future, the essential form and integrity of the historic property and its environment would be unimpaired. And again, no addition or new construction is proposed. So that's the overview. So again, just really to summarize, most of the changes are going to be on the inside. They have provided sort of a conceptual layout for the interior of the warehouse and then the cigar lounge that I'll let the applicants walk through with you. So if you have any questions for me, I can answer those, but this would probably be a good time to hear from the applicants, and they can kind of take you through their plans for the building.
Okay. Gentlemen, would one of you care to walk us
Sure.
through this, please?
We'll both come up just in case there's some questions that he might, or excuse me, answers he might have that better suit your questions. So my name is Jake Ross, and this is Josh McGaha, and we're the current or new owners of this 410 South 2nd Street. As Julie is mentioning, it's our intention to do a retrofit storage inside, but as far as that goes, the height of these storage units is about 10 foot, and before you even touch any of the old beams that were in this building originally for the heavy industry that it was designed for, I think it's at 12 feet. So our intention is to really, as Julie mentioned, just dress up the outside, bring back a time period specific window styles with the sashes in there and the grids kind of to match what the stove loft has already done. And then again, like she mentioned, clean up the outside. So get some of that red paint power washed off and just kind of see if we can get a good flow of what stove loft has already done, because I feel like they've done an excellent job down there. And then after that, from there, just getting the doors and windows to where it also meets code too that the city's going to require for this specific occupancy. So.
Fellow commissioners, do you have any questions?
You've left, someone has left some these are the interior modifications
Okay.
that you're talking about?
Do you have a number 1 and 2 on your
Yes.
sheets? Okay.
Talk to me about number one.
Sure, number 1, and again, these are just proposed ideas, because this whole project is kind of on a tentative basis until we can get the approval. But number 1, and then speaking with the city, I don't, the layout's about the same as far as the retrofit inside goes, but the difference here between 1 and 2, the current office that CNH Supply uses right now as their office would remain in place, and then the cigar lounge would merge into some of this warehouse space. But then after some more proposed work and talking to some of the retrofit companies, I believe the better proposed layout is gonna be the number 2 that you all should have in front of you, where basically it actually designates, again, as Julie mentioned, the storefront property is specifically for the cigar lounge and will not actually come over into this warehouse side. So the warehouse side would remain a total separate business and entity for this specific proposed mini storage, and then the storefront would stay its separate owned business as well. So there would be no merging of the two. So I believe, and again, working with the retrofit company and still kind of on the, planning, waiting for decisions to be made, then I'll start working with the city as far as the inspections go and codes. But number 2, I believe, will probably be our more likely scenario as far as the layout goes.
So the cigar lounge would go away?
No, cigar lounge wouldn't go away, it just wouldn't merge over into the warehouse side. There was gonna be some usage of the doorway that's already got the 2 buildings connected. That doorway would just be sealed off, so it's literally 2 separate occupancies. And then that way that cigar lounge is in its own footprint, and there's no, trying to, get it.
Well, excuse me,
Yes, sir.
in number 1, you're showing 140-foot depth,
Yes, sir.
and 24 of that's the cigar lounge.
Yes, sir.
In 2, you have 140 depth. Where's the cigar lounge?
So the cigar lounge, if you have an aerial view, which can I come up here? So,
Yep.
so right here, again, how this was designed, and so from the windows that you all, I had submitted to you all, the previous owner had built this out in plywood. Our intention would be like what they've done here, open this all back up and put a window that fits that entire footprint instead of the trimmed out with the siding. So what you see here, that whole 140 feet by the 65, this wall here is a poured wall, and it comes all the way down through here, and then about 17 feet off of this doorway here, inside, if you can visualize walking in through this doorway, 17 feet in, there's another doorway that comes into the warehouse portion. And so that's where we were gonna utilize that as some lower lounge space. But again, then that merged these 2 buildings, so now the intention and why I proposed number 2 would be now the office space for CNH Supply, that office space that you see. Currently, the way the CNH used this business was you walk in through this door here, their office is this whole footprint about to here.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then it goes back, and then this is also, this was shared with
It's Sunflower.
the Sunflower Sisters.
Yeah.
And so, the Sunflower Sisters, they had that wall here for CNH's office. The Sunflower Sisters kind of merged this building in that proposed plan where they come through that doorway 17 feet in, and this part of the warehouse too, which basically what they shared was the same upper space. There was no designated ceiling space, and that's where, just to make sure everything is code compliant and safe, to where, as far as the occupancies go, this whole warehouse would be its own rectangular mini storage, and then this storefront would be a 2-part lounge with a first floor and a second floor.
So the cigar lounge will have 2 floors.
Yes, sir.
And are you you're gonna block a door? Is that what you're
Well,
saying?
so basically, I think just to make sure there's 2 separate designated businesses, I mean, we can either keep that a sealed door, but I think just for fire and everything else, it would probably be best to just cinder block that up and just eliminate that doorway in general. Again, that would be something I think is more part of a code issue, but if I don't imagine it was already built in anyways. It's nothing that was time period specific. It was an aftermath addition by the current tenant who's in the building now. So basically it was a framed out area, part of the space, and then he put a door in there.
But you're gonna install another window where this block.
So, yep, so this would be window, this would now be a street side access into the mini storage.
Into storage, right?
Yep, and then this doorway here, I think if it needs to be brought back for code as far as means of egress goes, because we'll have this egress down here, and then another egress down here by this big, garage door. This would all be, opened back up. Now, here, obviously you can't have a huge massive door. This used to be a garage door, so again, it was framed out with a doorway. This would be something that this would be the only area that would have, still some framing and cosmetic siding, I guess, that would, we would paint accordingly to match everything else. And then still have a steel doorway here for, access into the building. This whole area would be a whole window, and then the doorway into the cigar lounge, whole window, and replace this whole window. And then these windows here along the side, because they would be now storage somebody's units, these would be either sided and painted nicely and eliminate these windows just for safety and security of the stuff that's in here. But again, this would all be dressed up as far as that goes, and these little windows on the front would be eliminated.
You're talking about eliminating all the windows on the south
These
side?
were just windows that he added in and had graded over, so again, it's all built out with just some old lap siding. And so, if again.
Yeah, those are not historic windows.
These are not,
Okay.
these are not historic.
I should have did a drive-by. I know the building, but I should have looked more closely at it. Okay,
Had put in, so.
okay.
These spaces would be either sided, lap sided, or, I guess kind of based on what
The door on Second Street into the warehouse,
This door
right?
here?
That door, what will that look like? Is that the door
That would
you
be
propose?
I would like to go back with a glass door, but the steel door that you saw, I believe, has a little window.
Yes,
And again, I think just for safety and other means, it's gonna be probably a solid steel door like we saw with probably one of those, just a side light kind of piece of glass in there, so, and then a panic bar on that.
Okay.
Because the problem with a door like this here, and I guess you can have that panic bar on there, it's gotta be.
well, I'm just concerned to how that door is gonna look. I
Sure.
mean, I don't wanna see side lights on it.
Sure, so kind of like what they've done here with this door, so I guess it wouldn't be side lights, but it would just be, that's what, a six light door you would call it?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it would be something similar to
Okay,
that.
okay,
So that would be, and like he's done here, how he filled in this whole entire
right.
space. Same with what we would do here, and I think that would give it a nice visual.
Trying to match up to what's already
exactly.
existing.
And then again, with the power washing concept, they've just done that to, re-expose this historic brick. A lot of this has been tuck pointed, so it's all in good shape. So it would just be, getting all the flaky paint off and trying to keep it as.
And the window, the big window on
Yes,
top
sir,
there,
this one
that's
here,
gonna
yeah.
stay as is, or is that being
No,
replaced?
this window would be totally replaced, and again, it would match all of these windows, so we would use the same, window provider, and this would just be a big custom window.
So it wouldn't be the 6 pane that you show in the drawing,
Well,
it would be
I
the
mean,
12?
we would do the sashes, however, again, these were just Google images. I hadn't reached out to the window company yet to have measurements and spec it out, but basically what I was trying to show you is the grid in there to keep them, that kind of time period specific. It wouldn't just be a solid window like you would see out this window here.
But
We would have the bridge.
You don't intend to replace that in kind? You want to put in a window that's similar to the other building?
Yep, so it would be, whether we go with this same style or a different style, just to kind of give it some separation so they, you can see the two separate, or if it's
I
proposed
sure like to
that-
not see it be a smaller window than what's already there.
Sure, well, these are all just, these can be built however.
Right.
And sashes can be built
Right.
however in these windows, these are total custom windows.
You're gonna make it the same
Sure.
opening.
So I think keeping this, keep the same opening,
Yeah, if that's
not,
what you're asking.
That's what I'm
okay,
asking,
I'm
yes,
sorry.
that's
Yeah.
I
okay.
didn't know if you're asking
No,
me
no.
to match these.
The opening will be the same.
Yes, sir, yes, the
Yeah.
opening would be the same, and the window company will build out to make sure that new window sits right up in there. There will be no, that's what I'm trying to get rid of, is this look.
Right,
So we can really bring back what this building used to look like, which had these big massive windows in it. That would be the idea, is to really bring back what used to be there and do away with all of these things here. So, except with the exception of where, where you would have this huge 8-foot door, these would be, and this used to be an old garage door. It just, that's not, we're not gonna go back with a garage door, the city wouldn't permit.
and what about the windows above the garage door? Those were windows at one time,
Yep,
apparently.
so, I don't know, these here, you're right, they've been closed off. I had, no intention to replace those, but if that's something that you all feel like, in helping your decision.
It sure
would
would
want
be
brought back,
nice.
Sure.
I
And
don't
I
wanna
think
tell you
you're
what to do, but that
I think you're
that
right,
would,
I think that actually, when you said that, that would allow for a lot more natural light
Yeah.
to come in.
so that's all open in there, right, and that would
Yeah,
just
it
be.
Yeah, it's just
complete-
open.
it literally, from here, you can look
all the way
up
up, yeah.
and see the very top, and
Yeah.
it's super, it's a super neat building.
Well, with the work that you're talking about doing, I mean,
Sure,
it
and
would make
that's,
sense to replace those.
Sure, and that would be something I would absolutely consider doing, that's, just a matter of, I haven't built any budgets yet. So that would
building
just
the
be
budget
something,
for
if you
you.
guys think, hey, this would, if you guys say, let's do this, as long as you get those in, I would absolutely put those in.
I think it would look
And now that you say it, I don't even
a
think I
lot
paid
better.
attention to it.
Time you power wash that, get all that off of there, it's gonna
I
look pretty
totally agree with
crummy.
you. And so, again, an arched window, that's nothing they can't do, so. I'm not going to a big box store and buying these and just fitting them in. They're just
Understand.
custom
Right.
made, so.
They have to be.
I was gonna iterate real quick, this building used to be, they used to make tank turrets.
It was what, I'm sorry?
They used to make tank turrets,
Tank
Oh,
turrets,
I
okay.
think in World War One, and we actually have the book, it was Great Stove, manufacturing company owned it. And the actual pot still is still there, they melted the actual, and he built an office over it. So our intention on the cigar side, if the budget allows and we can get it to work, is to actually do a Lexington glass walkway, so when you walk into the humidor, it'll be backlit with the actual pot still there.
Oh, cool.
Which is in this building here, if you walk straight 21 feet back, he built an office up over that, which he said is still existing under there. So again, to even bring back more of the history of that building, to do that Lexan glass over it to where when you walk into it, you can actually see
it.
what used to be under there.
But that's,
That'd be
again, that's gonna be a
that'd be pretty
budgetary
neat.
item, the humidor will be above it, so the only way you get in is you're 21, but then the front of the store will be accessories, and then that square window at the top is the old gang showers. So now, they rinse off all the ore, and they were getting, for the end of the day, there's probably, 10 shower heads across the
Yep,
wall. You can
so-
see where they used to be on the wall. We plan on keeping that, we're not touching that at all. All we're literally doing up there is putting a smoke heater, AC unit, and leather furniture.
Yep.
Cleaning it, obviously.
So again, leaving the natural poured walls, all original,
What are the floors like in there in the land?
solid concrete.
Oh, concrete.
It's, like I said, that whole side was poured, it's
I
incredible.
see, okay.
You can see the old 2x6s that they stacked on top of one another so, our intention again is just to really dress up the outside, bring back the history of it, and not touch a thing inside. The cool old beams with the crane is still on it, so, there's no reason to move any of that. I think it actually adds to the character of the building.
And the old hoist is still there, and it still works, they say. And it's massive, so I'm gonna play with it.
You have street access on Second,
Yes, sir.
and then you have other access in the parking lot on the
Yep,
south.
so part of the planning commission last night, so this would be that, this would now be right now, he closes it, it's open and closed during business hours. And so people that have stuff stored, which there's nothing out there now, he's open, the gates are open. So now the intention would be with this new fence that I showed you in the proposed plans, that black fencing, this would be an automatic gate as well. So people who have storage units would have a keypad that they could gain access in here. And then back here where you see that big 25-foot garage door, and then there's another side entrance here. That's the proposed area where people would load and unload, so there wouldn't be traffic on the streets of people trying to load and unload through that door. They need to pull into the property, and then once they have access here, that fence allows them 24-hour access to their stuff. And then again, there would be another fob here that would allow them to access into the facility. And so that's how that layout is designed, and they just travel down this path here. So,
Is there any consideration of the tenants or a person
sure.
Renting space inside the parking lot for campers,
Yeah,
boats, and all that stuff?
That would, again, we reviewed that with the planning commission. So the intention here, I kind of call it a phase 1 and 2. Phase 1 obviously is getting all the interior stuff done. And then just, as prices have increased and steel prices have gone up, it would be my intent depending on demand and how much there's need for maybe exterior storage someday. But right now, just for supplemental income, yes, the intention is to keep this as tenants want to also do just RV storage or boat storage.
So there's gonna be no storage initially, all of the people that are storing there now are,
Well, there's nobody there now.
Ah,
Everybody's totally
okay.
cleared out now
Okay.
just because of the ownership change.
okay.
So yeah, there's nothing now. It's really just.
I think there would be a need for outdoor storage like that.
Well, sure, and again, they do a very good job with some of these, the same retrofit companies I've talked to here have also priced out the exterior as well. But again, that's, just the cost of everything right now, financially, I'm not trying to get this passed yet. This would probably be, like I said, I'd call it a phase 2, which, again, having to work with the city, but there would be nothing outside that's changed. Outside's still gonna be the same, so.
I'm glad you're not gonna leave the chain link fence.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's, it's,
pretty
I guess
bad
I'd
looking.
call it outdated too. And again, I think next door, he's done that same black, those pictures I've shown you.
And our fence contractor, I know him personally, it's my uncle, he actually has designed tons of historical fences. So he's actually one of the main contractors for Kansas City, Missouri, for downtown, anything downtown fencing. He does an extremely good job. So he's actually doing the arched, so that's for security. And that's the fence that Kansas City, Missouri requires on all their historical buildings downtown, if it's not matching old cast. So, but we don't need a bunch of designs because people knock those tips off with hammers, but we were gonna actually secure with the bent over. So no barbed wire, and then it will be, it's a city code, Julie 8-feet fencing.
Yeah, I think we can go up to that, but yeah, we'll work with
And,
that.
and you can't electrify it.
Right?
So the only other question I have is you'll have motion sensors on the outside of it
For lighting and
Yes.
stuff. I know the planning commission asked about signage and stuff, so our intention is to not have any flashy bright lights, like saying, hey, come rent here or anything. It's just gonna all be very, either just like a printed sign, and we would probably try to utilize some of this space up here as far as signage goes. And then as far as the cigar lounge, it would probably be a very basic steel sign with a little bit of backlighting. So again, nothing, but just to kind of give it some good contrast, so.
But if you're gonna have vans and other storage outside, you're gonna have to have some kind of security lighting.
Sure, yeah, that would all be, I mean, again, I think that would kind of, I don't know if that falls into your hands as far as what kind of lighting we can and can't have, or if that's more from the city as far as that, but.
No,
again,
my only concern is, one, you need it,
Sure.
but two, you've got a loft apartments right across the street from you.
Well, yeah, that you don't want to be blowing out their windows, people waking up at night every time a motion like that. Absolutely, I know, I totally understand. And so maybe it's just something that has a nice, I mean, I'm sure you guys see the street lighting as you travel down the roads, but, lighting has evolved, and this LED lighting is, very efficient, and I think can be very,
Directional.
directional.
Yeah,
yes.
with lighting design, that can be directed
Yeah,
into the
to where
property instead of
it's not
out.
like
It's
some
not just a
massive
bulb
bulb
that
that's
goes, yeah.
illuminating, 2 blocks worth of stuff. So yeah, I think they've evolved enough to where that shouldn't be an issue. And again, I don't know if that's you all's decisions but yeah, we would, absolutely, there would be security systems and as far as cameras go, so yeah, there would, we'll meet those standards.
Well, I think it's an ideal location.
Absolutely.
Because of all the loft apartments.
Sure.
You know, those people don't necessarily have places to store.
Sure.
Stuff that doesn't fit.
Sure, and I think the next closest, just based off of kind of what we've seen, I think there's one down Cherokee, or is it Spruce?
Little city one.
Just a very small one, and then obviously Kmart has done their big conversion. But again, that's still quite a travel if you're thinking, moving trailers back and forth, and so.
And one other thing, I don't know if you guys, if you wanna see what we've already done with the retrofit, we took the oldest refrigerator in town and made it to a humidor. We own Broadway Liquor, and we converted it to a humidor. Used to hang meat, hang cigars now. And we,
It's a little hard to get into, but I've been in there.
yeah, it's, we didn't touch it at all. We actually kept the door and the new door.
It's pretty neat.
So one of our, I think one of our oldest buildings is 1857. It's up on North Esplanade. And so, we try to, I don't know, him and I both love history, and it's pretty cool to see. I think that's probably what's drawn us to Leavenworth, is just being able to get into some of these really neat old buildings that have, if these walls could talk and tell you stories. So in like this building specifically, I'm actually super excited if everything goes through to tear up that office floor and see what's underneath. Him and I just love that stuff. And so I think this is gonna be a fun and good project for us. And again, I don't think we will, let you all down if it's something that you decide to go through with, so.
Are there any other inquiries from my fellow commissioners?
No, I think it's a good project. I'll support it. I hope that you'll put some windows in up there in those 3 arch windows.
Yeah, that's a great idea, and honestly, I think
that will really make it.
Yep, and again, I have no budget set. I'm just still gambling right now. I'm rolling the dice if this even comes through. If not, it's gonna be a really pretty vacant lot.
You mentioned that this in 1941 was a track construction for tanks.
I think it was the tank turrets.
Tank turrets. They
Oh,
just make
turrets, I'm
turrets.
sorry.
Yep.
I thought you
And,
said track. Anyway, do you have any pictures at that time of the outside of the building?
No, we don't. So I might go to First City Photos, see if she has anything.
Yeah, or check with the Historic Society,
Okay.
Leavenworth County Historic Society.
I think
They're a
the
good source.
old owner said he had a book that somebody came in a long time ago. He's had the building for, I think, 30+ years. And somebody gave him a book a long time ago about kind of what that building used to do and what it.
All that is parts.
Oh, okay.
It's an old parts catalog.
Oh,
It's not-
okay.
It does, it's a.
I haven't seen the book, so.
So I have a question that you may not
Yes,
be
sir.
able to answer. Is CNH just closing, or are they going to a
Yep,
different location?
he's just retiring.
He's
and-
retiring.
Yep, he's just
Okay.
done doing business, so,
Okay.
Our plumber's upset.
yeah. No, he had a good
Retirement is
location. Now we
good.
gotta,
No,
now we
it's
gotta find
about
somewhere else to
Kansas
go,
City.
yeah.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
Well, gentlemen, thank you very much.
Absolutely.
I haven't been in there for over a year just due to COVID, but I've been all the way through there, and so this is like probably the second building we've ever discussed here that I'm real familiar with how it looks
Oh,
on
good.
on the inside of it. So I'll be looking forward to hopefully endorsing what you're trying to do.
absolutely. I hope so too. Like I said, we're pretty excited. We've had a lot of just people coming through Broadway Liquor, and the cigar edition that we've had, because to travel now to a cigar lounge and partake in that, you've got a 30-40 minute drive down to Olathe to partake in theirs or go up to Zona Rosa. I mean, why not be able to do something like that here? I mean, you've got the people and the need for it. So I think, we can start off with a nice footprint here and if, demand requires, do something different down the road.
And eventually you'll get a liquor license down the road a piece, and you'll be able to have a nice cocktail in there as well.
Yeah,
Right?
well, again, that's all kind of stuff we're looking into. I don't know how all that works as far as, people, I don't know. But, yeah, that would sure be an idea, but.
Okay.
Make it a club. Do it.
Yeah.
So you're planning on parking for the cigar lounge to be on the street?
Yeah, there would be street parking, for that. And again, I think just with the footprint there, I mean, you're not talking, 50 to 100 people in there. I think just an occupancy load, I think it's just a small, event space, I guess, or for an enjoyable lounge space. I don't foresee it being able to hold that, enough people to max out what kind of parking there is available already down there, so.
Yeah, and there are no parking requirements for downtown with all of the public parking lots and off-street parking. That's specifically addressed with the zoning.
Okay.
Other than the loft parking is right across the street.
Yeah, that was required.
And I think he bought that, I think that's part of his act, or that, I shouldn't say his or hers, but their space.
Yeah, that's, and the lot over closer to the railroad tracks, those are city lots. So the lot just south of the apartments is private. I don't know how strictly they enforce it, but there's, city parking all
There's plenty of
all
parking there.
around.
Well, with their, event room, they need that parking.
Yes,
Sure, well, and again, just, and again, the city will let you know an occupancy load, but it's really not all that big. You can see the measurements here, and I don't know if I submitted those to you all on that side, but I have the dimensions here of those spaces. The lower space on the main floor, you're looking at 12.5 feet wide by a depth of, I don't know, what I got here, 25 and 25, 50 feet it looks like, so, I mean, it's not a very big space, so, again, I wouldn't foresee it being able to hold, a whole lot of people that, again, we would have an issue with parking, or people are, causing issues to the tenants with parking, so.
If we feel that it's getting too crowded or big, we will buy another building in town and make
Sure.
a larger space. I mean, that, we own a lot of property up here, so that would be our full intent. I mean, we will develop, we gotta start small, I can't start.
Well, and again, we still have the parking space that's already designated for CNH's property, so worst case scenario, parking, they just park in the fenced in area, and that area is just not used for outdoor storage, That would, I think, be a worst case scenario, and then they can just access through the gate back out onto Second Street and then inside, so. So, I mean, I guess I should say we have the room, because he has it currently for his business, so it would just be how do we utilize it,
Okay.
so.
Good idea.
Ed, do you have any comments?
Yeah, I think, the east side of the building, if you follow through with your general plans that we're talking about here, gonna be much more historically,
Oh, yeah.
of value than what's there right now.
Especially when Stovaloff has already done all the work they've done.
Yeah,
I mean, we're kind of like the finishing touch, because after that, it's the creek and then the judicial building. So, yeah, I mean, that's really kind of the eyesore right now, honestly.
my other question, well, not a question, but comment, I was surprised when you said the south side of the building has been completely changed. So there's nothing historical there other than the bricks, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's really it, just that brick that you see already. And then all those little windows like they've done up front were all framed out. And then probably big box store, whatever the best window price was, we just put those in and built accordingly. But again, that was 30-some years ago when all that probably took place. So, what was the standard then and all that, so. But, yeah, I mean,
Sounds good to me.
sure.
It's a
Well, I
good
appreciate it.
project.
So if there's no other input, gentlemen, thank you very, very much.
Yes,
You
well, thanks
gave
for
us-
your time too, so,
Give us some good in-depth insight.
yeah.
So from commissioners, I'm ready to receive a motion if you've got consideration.
oh, we do need to open a public hearing
Public hearing first.
and close it.
It's a technicality. You can open and close it quickly.
I'm opening the public hearing. I'm opening the public hearing. I'm opening the public hearing. Seeing that there is no other public present, I am now closing the public hearing. Thank you very much. As always, I'm counting on my subject matter expert on what I'm really doing over here. Well, because that's really important.
Yep, gotta dot all the i's and cross all the t's.
Mr. Chairman, are you ready for a motion?
Yes, sir. I'm ready
Okay,
for
I
a
would
motion.
move that we approve the proposed renovation project at 410 South Second Street.
I'll second it.
It's been moved and properly seconded that we approve the project at 410 South Second Street. I'll start with you, Dick, on that end for a vote.
Yes.
Yes?
Aye.
And yes, so that's a unanimous vote to move the project forward. Good luck. We'll be looking for it.
Thank you, gentlemen. Yeah, don't rush us, it's gonna.
No,
there's some-
it's not a rush. We know
Okay.
crawl, walk, run.
That's
but,
right, so.
and we
we'll
hope
make sure
you're-
we do it right.
you're able to incorporate our consideration and reference the upper windows, because,
Absolutely.
yeah.
I don't know how I overlooked that, I just kind of saw what was there, but I think it's.
Okay, then I think our next piece is, we don't have any correspondence. We just have some minor certificates of appropriateness.
Yep, those are all just FYI, just minor items that have gone on historic properties, some signs, roofs, doors, nothing major of note.
It was major for me.
One is, Mr. Bowers.
1029 Third
Yes.
Avenue, replace some windows.
Yes,
Well, yes. Okay, if there is nothing else to come before us, I will entertain a motion from my vice president over there, or vice chair.
I move we adjourn the meeting.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we adjourn the meeting. As always, I'd like to conclude with thanking the staff for the great work they did. And Michelle specifically, this month I actually got my stuff all printed.
There you go.
Yes. So
we
like,
do not have a meeting next month.
Nothing
Okay,
for,
we don't have a
nothing
meeting.
coming up.
next month.
Good.
Okay, thank you again, everybody.
Did you want to ask about the,
Oh, I sent out the link from Katrina for
Yes.
the online training that they have later this month. I think Dick and Ed, I heard from, I've got the emails. If you told me you wanted me to register you, I'll get you registered and you'll get the link for that. And I know I'm gonna register Michelle and Jackie and I, and try some good information.
Okay,
That's good.
I'll have to get back with you on that because I'm not sure. All right, we are adjourned. Be safe, everybody.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your time, for your idea.